is that impromptu, being able to improvise,
Yes, but I'm
which
that
clearly you were thrown in the deep end from the start, and you kind of had to
yeah.
think quick on your feet. And I'm sure, especially with live television, you among your colleagues have encountered a number of moments probably
Oh
us
yeah.
the audience are not even aware of, so definitely want to learn more about that, right? But yeah, I was just highlighting that that's
Yeah,
probably
man.
one of the skills you
Definitely.
need.
So it was a little bit rough in the beginning, but however, they didn't allow us to just go on stage. We had training. We Yvonne Chin Irving actually took us through, took me through 2.5 months of training before, just saying, hey, go ahead. And that moves me to the next thing. I told you about the process of auditioning. So we have to then talk about what is necessary going into an audition for a hosting gig. The first thing in any audition whatsoever across the board is confidence. I mean, whichever audition, whether it be TV, film, stage, whatever it is, it's just a level of confidence that takes away the doubt from your mind, which will also take away the doubt from the person who is auditioning you, their mind as well. As a TV host, are you a part of the production process, or is it that you're given the rundown? Well, as a television host, I have about 5% input. Lie. Depending on the producer, the amount of input changes. There are some producers who will build their show up and then give you a complete and total rundown. And then there are some producers who will ask for your feedback, ask for your input, and then you can have a lot of input if they choose. So it differs. Okay, so the audition once you got through It's My Jamaica, did you have to audition for other shows? Oh yeah, then they must. You think some people already just give me works up? Event hosting work, they will come to me and say, yes, we want you to do it. But other show, of course I have an audition. You think say, well, I didn't have to audition for ER. That was Anthony's choice. He said, once she do it, she gonna do it. And then that was that. But yeah, I do have to audition for everything else.
That
So
says
the
a lot.
what that
Anthony has very high standards, so
trust and believe, and that took some growing pains, but we're all right now still. Yeah, so the auditioning process started off with confidence. It also took what Annalisa just said, a lot of quick thinking, and theater and helped a lot with that in terms of being able to just impromptu jump up something and improv, and that happened especially in my audition process because Neville just threw things at me. Like he made a joke about the fact that he could see my boobs through the top that I had on, and I was just like, but funny enough, I was like, but why are you looking at my boobs? Be careful. Next thing you know, you get yourself in trouble. So it became like a back and forth instead of a deer in the headlights, pun intended, situation. So that worked out well for me. Would I want to be a producer for a talk show? Definitely. Definitely. Why? Because as the host, I think I would know a little bit more about what a host needs and the kind of entertainment because of feedback that we get from an audience. So definitely, I'd love that. Back to the auditioning process. So the first thing was the confidence. The second thing was have improv ready. And the third thing is prepare yourself for some kind of teleprompter use. There are apps that you can go on to and download, and they have teleprompters there, and it will teach you how, because going in and having a teleprompter is completely left field. It was completely left field from anything I'd ever experienced because it meant reading, acting, being natural at the same time while having your eyes do this, trying to scan and make sure there are no mistakes on the way, and that took a lot of training. So you can actually prep for that beforehand by using the apps that are there. As a media personality from Horain, do you, a question gone? Do you
have an
do you
agent?
represent yourself?
You have an
Do you have an
agent?
agent?
Yeah, that's all the question.
Of course, my agent / management is in the group. Her name is Nadine Rollins. She managed me on every single side. She deal with the money. She tell the people them say them not pay me enough and all and something there. Yeah. So definitely she's the person who handles that all that stuff. All right, so with the auditioning process is definitely the same kind of preparation that you would do for film. If they give you the script beforehand, is something that you need to do. However, if you don't get the script beforehand, same situation. Go in, make sure you read over as best you can, and be as natural as possible. This is not about becoming a character like in film or on stage. It's literally about taking the best parts of you and putting them out there. Leave the nasty part them till little further down when the people get to like you already, and then you can just go out and show everything. But when you're going to the audition, put the nice part for the front, and then boops, everybody will work out that. All right, the next thing I have up here is acting and hosting, the similarities and the differences. Now, we started on that when we talked about improvisation. That is always a good thing to have as an actor. You have to be able to take what comes at you. I've been in the studio many times, light go in and the teleprompter don't come back up. What do? You have a script, but you have to be able to manage without the script. You have to know what the story is about. You have to do the prep before you get to the interview, to make sure that you know who you're talking to, you know what you're asking, and you know where the story is going. And if all that fails, you go back to your initial training, which is what we got from Yvonne. You ask the questions that are important. Who, what, when, how much. And those things will actually just save you, and it save us a crap ton of times. I mean, if things go wrong, go back to those questions. Like, you can't go wrong with those, right? Yeah, so how does acting help with hosting? A lot. The improvisation is one. Along with the training, it will help you propel yourself a little further than the average host, because then you're able to jump in and out of wherever you need to be at any given time. So if you have, say, someone from Scotiabank come in and they're talking about banking, and you know absolutely nothing about banking, you get to the point where you figure in your head, okay, who's asking these questions? Who are the people who would want to know this kind of stuff? And you use your acting skills to go ahead and become that person and ask those questions. If you have a little picnic come in, you're not going to want to deal with a child the same way how you're going to deal with the person who you were talking to from Scotia. So you have to be able to jump into each person, each way a different, each interview a different way. And that the malleability of a host is very important. So that is the next thing that acting would definitely help with. However, people don't like fake, and TV will show fake really, really easily. That is one thing that I realized. Likability is something that is very important on TV. And I realized that likability comes with being honest. It comes with being who you are and just being natural. If you go out there and you try and fake a personality, it's like the camera literally is so close. Oh, bug. Sorry.
Oh, I thought that was part of it.
Sorry about that. There was a bug on the window.
So the camera doesn't just add 10 pounds, it also adds to any
Trust me. It adds 10 nice pounds, like if you have a good gurgle, it will squeeze your belly and make your bottom look big. But
it enhances in any inauthentic or unauthentic presentation.
Definitely, it shows exactly who you are. It goes right through your eyes into your soul, and people can read if you're fake. So try and be as genuine as you can. I've had people message me and say to me, "You're not having a good day today," no matter how I think that I'm out there acting it out. Yeah, if I'm not having a good day and I cannot manage to cover that completely, it shows, So you genuinely just have to go out there and do it with whatever you're feeling, whatever you're doing. You can try and set it aside, but don't try and hide it, because then people tend to see through that. Don't try and pretend to be something you're not, Different strokes for different folks. You might not necessarily be the person for this job. I was not the person for Intense. I was not the person for Hype TV, but I was a person for this. What Kevin said, like, go and the teleprompter go down faint. I've always wondered when you host, does the producer discuss your hairstyle and wardrobe before you go on the show, or is that your responsibility to take care of? Well, my love, a foreign, you're supposed to, but this is JA. A lot of times, if it's a thematic show, our producers will talk to us about clothing. especially like we have a specific producer, her name is Kamika. She tends to do a lot of thematic shows. So if she's doing a tea party, she'll let you know, hey, this week she'll want you in a tutu or something with a fascinator, and we'll discuss it like that. But not every producer is like that. You know, there are producers that expect that you're gonna come and you're gonna know what it is. And also a lot of producers are boring. They're boring the blouse and skirts. So you know the show, you know what the show is gonna be. You know that is this segment and this segment and this segment, and you're gonna get that and you're gonna get that. So you know, say if them want you wear a pants, they will tell you wear a pants. And that's about it. That's as much as the information you're gonna get, except if you have a specific producer. So if you have a producer that is very thematic or very specific about their wants and their needs, they'll let you know.
Before you move to Andre's question, because it's touching on a different thing, and I think a lot of this you've kind of touched on already, because they said a great host is one who can connect to the audience. They don't make it about them, but about their audience having a great experience. Great hosts put the audience before their ego, and they're comfortable in their own skin and maintain a strong sense of self. And of course, you've already highlighted that confidence is so key to any role. And you know, highlighting that you should know your audience, know how to, as you said, the host has to be malleable and know how to interact with different types of people to kind of gauge the questions and finesse them in a way that connects with the audience. And connecting with you as a personality is a big part of that. Obviously, as opposed to stage where you have a live audience, and I know in TV you do have live studio audiences sometimes, but most, you know, oftentimes you don't have, you know, that energy to draw off on as you would with stage. Can you talk a little bit about, you know, in terms of how you access the energy to just, you know.
I had training as one of the topics, and under training is one of the things that we learned. We learned exactly what you just said. When we were taught, Yvonne made sure that she specifically said words like I, my, mine, unless you are Kevin, stop. Unless you are specifically speaking to one person. When you're talking to your audience, we talk about our and we should, and do we know how, instead of making it about you, because the show is definitely not about you. It's about engaging the people who are behind that camera. You feel like you don't have an audience, but you do. You have an audience. That's the biggest audience you could possibly reach. It's millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people who are watching this specific thing, and that is your audience. So literally, you have to treat that camera like it's that 100,000 people, you know, and make sure each one of those persons watching feels like they're included in at least an aspect of what you're doing, so that they don't feel like, you know, it's just a conversation between two people or however many hosts there are. And that's also an issue. Chemistry with hosts is wonderful, but sometimes it can become exclusive. It becomes about you and the person enjoying yourselves together, as opposed to including the people who are watching. And that is something that every host has to literally fight against, because we have to manage to include the people who are watching as well. And that is something that we as hosts always have to find out and get feedback from our audience to see if they feel like they're a part of our story. And a lot of times you can see the difference between another TV station and our TV station. The hosts feel more like family. Not only do we have good chemistry with each other, but people see up on the road and them see we picnic and start talking with picnic because they know we're children. Because by the time we talk about how Sammy this and Aaron this and, you know, Empress talk about her husband, it becomes like it's one big family, and they are included in that family. So they literally feel like they know you. They are part of your lives, which can be a little bit dangerous. But, you know, we want to have them feel included. All right. Yes, Kamika is good, people. She's awesome, people. She's amazing. How do you manage time? Yeah. How do you manage time during hosting segments, both ensuring the improv doesn't go over time and ensuring your guests don't ramble on? That takes me to the next part of the training. The teleprompter is not the only thing that you need to be aware of. When you get your in-ear, that is when you have the biggest problem. For cause say, the producers sometimes can be very talkative into your ears, and they will be talkative while you are trying to do an interview. They are the ones, however, who gauge you on time and tell you when you got to wrap it up, tell you when you got to get going. The best producer that I've ever worked with in that dimension has nothing to do with TVJ, and I will forever say it. His name is Landy Murray, and he's the most amazing producer I've ever worked with. He keeps you on your toes, gives you all the information you need, and makes sure that you have shit down. And I think that is the job of a producer. But the in-ear can be very confusing, excessively confusing, because when somebody is talking to you here, and you're trying to concentrate here and trying to project your feelings towards the camera, it's like you're having 3 totally different conversations. And so that takes a little bit of getting used to. It takes a little bit of training to understand, but they are the ones who manage to keep us under wraps. You know, if it's getting out of hand, they have to pull it back. And so the job of our producer is excessively important. And Kevin, I wish we had better training for our producers. I mean, across the board, because a lot of people don't realize how much we need good producers. How do we stop a guest from rambling on? That is literally like, you ever see man in a halfway tree run and chuck on a bus side when it's a move? That is how you stop your guest from talking if them start ramble. Once you realize that it's a guest that's very chatty or somebody who takes over a conversation, what you literally have to do is make sure that you can find a window. And once you get that window, if it's time for them to wrap up, you literally have to stick your toe in the window, stick your toe in the door, stop the conversation. Well, I'm so glad. I wish we had more time. That is so much more. There's so much more that we could talk about. And this is such an interesting conversation. However, you know, this is TV Land and we have to wrap it up. We hope to have you back. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. And thank you for coming. It was wonderful. Move on. That's how it's got to be. It's TV time. We don't have time, especially if it's a marketing interview and them paying for it and them exceed them 6 minutes. Look, your time done. Let's move on. So we try to get all the information out in the time that you are given, because once your time's up, your time's up, you know, and that's it. Would you be open to help high school students from a field?
I was just.
Of course, most def. Of course I would. That's fantastic. All right, so we took care of that. The second to last one that I have here before I ramble and chat off business. Different types of TV hosts. It's not just Smile Jamaica. Remember, there is TV hosts that do morning television. You have game show hosts. You have hosts for entertainment shows. So there's like ER and Intense. So there's a literally again, different strokes for different folks. So if you decide that you want TV.
Dead.
TV.
Dead.
Tell Justin to rejoin.
TV.
Oh, you're on such a crescendo. Like we were all waiting for the rest. Ah, okay. Everyone's rejoining.
Who that?
Sakina.
Hello.
It's an interesting ID name.
I know, right?
Okay, I think most
people are back.
Yes, we're back.
Justin went to Niagara now.
So that was just a practical. Sakina and I actually rehearsed that beforehand, you know, just to tell you, you know, how you have to be quick on your feet.
Yes. And
so, back to you, Sakina.
You got it. You're almost ready for TV hosting. All right, guys. So we're talking about the different kind of hosts. I'm almost done. So I'm gonna take up most of the time just in case the internet drop again. But yeah, so if you want to become a television host, you have to decide which one is it gonna be. Do you want to be a sexy entertainment report girl? Do you want to be an intense girl that's fun and young? Or do you want to be a sit down and chill like Smile Jamaica? Or do you want to be a fun young Smile Jamaica, which is weekends? You can decide which one you want to go for, and then you can make sure you do practicing and training for all of that. In Jamaica, we don't have reels that go out for TV hosts. So, I mean, it's not as necessary as it would be if you were trying to send a reel to someone overseas for television hosting. But in case you wanted to do that, yes, you can put together a TV host reel, which would include a template of what you can do, right? So it would pretty much be putting together you and somebody trying to host something, or you hosting an interview with somebody with a party. Whatever it is that you want to do, you have to put pieces that look like what you want to do together to be able to export. And that would definitely get you ready and on the path. So you have to decide what you want to do, get the training. If you want, you go online, get one of those teleprompter apps and start learning how to use a teleprompter. Learn how to listen out of one ears to this side and talk to that side. It's like something you have to do, but that's on the job training, I think, unless you have somebody who have that kind of equipment to help you out. Make the decision about the type of television host you want to be, and of course, be genuine. I've been in situations before where I've been hosting with a co-host, even specifically Neville, and we literally were having the worst morning in studio ever. And after a while, instead of trying to have people not realize that things were going wrong, we literally just started telling the audience what was happening. Yeah, see that the teleprompter stopped work again. All right, guys, them left me by myself. So we're going for the, and you know what? People respected that so much more than us trying to hide it. So I think naturalism, I think realism with people and just being yourself and being open to making a fool of yourself is something that has to be very, very important. Don't be afraid to get silly, to look silly. I mean, that's something that people enjoy, and the fact that they can see you and think that you are just like them is what makes you relatable. So that's definitely important. And the last point in terms of what's necessary that I have here is speech training. If you have any kind of speech impediment at all, that's something that you're definitely going to have to work on. Something that you also have to work on in terms of your speech is being able to speak for specific people. Doing weekday Smile Jamaica is very different from doing weekend Smile, because you're speaking to two totally different audiences. The audience during the week is an older, more refined audience that is very interested in current affairs, which means you have to read your newspaper, know what you're coming with, have all the information that you need to be able to discuss a specific topic. The audience on the weekend tends to be teenage to very young. They want to talk about parties, they want to talk about dances, they want to see what's fun, and you still have to be able to give them that as well while being yourself. So it means keeping up on everything that's going on. Preparation, that word cannot be ignored. Prepare, prepare, prepare. Make sure you and your producer are in good contact so that when them send you information, you make sure if it's something that you don't know, you go check it. If it's a pronunciation of somebody's name that you're not familiar with, make sure you get it, because the worst thing you can do, I can't somebody write their name wrong. That people don't like that. So definitely prepare, prepare, prepare. Get there early. They ask you to be there an hour before, get there an hour and a half before so that you are prepared. In this day and age now with COVID, everything is so different. You also have to be prepared to do these things from home. You have to know how to mic yourself. You have to know about certain equipment. So I'd say go a little bit further than just the job of a host and learn some other things as well. Know about your IFB, know about your microphone, know about where to place things, know how to mic yourself properly so that you're well lit. No, I mean, so that you're well heard, know to light yourself properly so that you're well seen. Step a little bit outside of the box to be able to manage all on your own if necessary because of, well, the new world order. So guys, I hope I gave some insight. I think my time would just about be done if we never get chopped off. But if there are any questions, please shoot.
Well, we do have a question in the chat, but just to segue, because you were talking about the changes in terms of COVID and, you know, the new adapting to the new world order. Has there been anything that has changed in any major way as to how you have adapted as a TV personality in this climate?
Most definitely. We have initially, when the whole lockdown process had started, we had testing to see, you know, if we could have done it at home. And, you know, we had to source equipment, each person, blah, 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 blah. But a lot of the going outside of the box is because of COVID, you know, learning. If you don't know how to do your makeup, you have to learn how to do your makeup on your own if you can't come out. So there are a lot of different things that you have to kind of learn how to dabble in, especially because of what is happening, and you have to be prepared. So if you're a presenter of any kind, you should always have your own makeup kit. You should always have your own personal lighting kit. Try your best to invest in some proper sound if you can, like a microphone that plugs into your laptop, a proper laptop. I don't have some of those things. I'm trying to get some of those things, but those things are absolutely necessary, especially because you don't know what can kick off. And if them shut down the place and you are a presenter, you want to know that you still have a job. You want to know that you're still able to present from home and work from home.
By the way, I'm adopting my deeper professional voice in your presence so that I sound more official as a host.
Girl, stop.
Gareth is asking, do you have a mentor as a TV host?
Definitely. I mean, and it's not one, because there are different parts to each person that I absolutely love. Now, I love Dion Jackson Miller because she's so like, yeah, she dep on things when it comes on to the serious stuff. But when it comes on to what I have learned, Simone has been very instrumental in teaching me how to adapt, how to fall into place. And of course, Neville, he's like, I am the bottom and he's the bench. And I appreciate that. And he's never, ever stopped to say, hey, if you don't need, he's never not stopped to give me information. Like before I go on, if he knows that there's something that I'm scared about or something that I need help with, he's always there to assist. And I think a lot of times we as new presenters, we don't like to ask questions because you don't want to seem stupid or you don't want to feel fool. That ask the question, but better you seem fool to the person beside you than you seem fool to the hundreds of thousands of people them where I watch you. So definitely. How is the best way to contact you helping the high school students? You can message me or you can message Nadine. She's in here. Raw management is my management and they'll give you all the information you need. Yeah, definitely. Hey, there you go. And Alyssa, see, producer. Got it.
Well, you touched on a lot of, I mean, you really gave a very thorough and it was thorough and concise at the same time in terms of touching on key topics. I think I had two questions. Just one, as a female creative talent, are there any differences or challenges you have encountered on a gender basis within this field, or would you say?
I'm gonna be very open with you guys. We are a very patriarchal country. I mean, as Jamaicans, we tend to take authority better from a man than a woman. As much as women kind of run the households here for the majority, in the majority, we tend to feel better when we have a man standing at the top. I don't know what that's about. I really don't know. But so yeah, there have been times when I've been hosting, not just television hosting, but event hosting as well, where the male has taken the dominant role of hosting. And sometimes as a host, it is your job to be able to fit into the spaces. It's not about having a literal outright war about who needs attention and blah, 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 because the show is literally not about you. It's not about you. It's about putting a good show forward. If you have an issue with a presenter or with somebody who is your co-host, who is a man or who is a different gender from you, then you can always go and have that conversation off camera. But while you are working, it is your job as a presenter to make the audience the priority and not you. So if you have that problem there, deal with it off camera. Just like if you have the problem with it on stage, you deal with it off stage. You don't pop off somebody's costume while you're on a stage or while you're on a set, you deal with that offset. So it's the same, it's really the same procedure, the same process.
And in terms of emerging Jamaican talent that want to kind of break into this side of the industry, what kind of advice or tips? I mean, you've kind of given an overview of how to prepare to get into it, and once you're there, the things you kind of have to be more resourceful and learn. But in terms of getting that toe or foot in, what advice would you give?
Firstly, I would say there are a lot of people now who are trying to do things online and make creative leaps, and I think that helps. I see people putting shows together like Tabs, that's done by Ashe, and that is literally the best way to get seen. Make yourself a host so that you are seen as a host in whichever way you want. So if it is a situation that you want to be seen in that way, like I specifically remember wanting to do some event hosting, and so it meant taking very small events so that somebody could see you in that way, so that you would then be seen for bigger events. And it's the same thing. Put small things out. Social media is how you're gonna get seen now. That's literally how people are gonna see you and know your face. A lot of people tend to go for faces that are already known, but you can build, and that's what it is. It's a process of building, of making your name, of making your way there. So I would say go out, put some little things together, put it on social media, make yourself seen in the light that you want to be seen in, and then that will help propel you to the point that you need to be, and then people will see you. If you don't get chosen, I always tell people rejection is just, I mean, they're telling you you're not right for this. It's not that you're right. You're not right at all. You're just not right for that. You're not right for that role. You're not right for this program. So don't feel completely beaten down if you're not chosen for something that you really, really want. Maybe you're just not the face that they're looking for. I saw a board of them choosing a host one time somewhere, and literally it boils down to how your face look on the backdrop sometimes, so it's not even literally, it could just be a look, just as it is in acting, just as it is for a film. It could just be something that they're looking for. So if you have that, you have that. If not, you're not right for that role.
Andre is asking in terms of, I guess, the emphasis we have on TV, but I guess we should point out that hosting, although we're focusing on TV today, the format is not so much as important as, the skill set within whatever medium you choose.
And I would agree with Kevin, Andre, TV is not dead. A lot of times you might think TV is dead, but TV is not dead. You watch TV. Local TV might not be as interesting as people would like, but TV is not dead. I'm sure you've seen all those late night hosts that have their programs, and their programs are still up and running overseas, all of them, whether it be LA and whomever, they still have their programs. They have just found ways and means of shifting how they do it. And it's easier for them to shift film and TV than to shift theater. People would rather sit down and watch a talk show than to watch a free show. You don't watch TV, all right, big up yourself.
Okay, as our final question, Gareth, and Gareth, maybe you might want to expand a bit more on this. He asked, does local TV challenge you as a host? I don't know if you want to expound a little, Gareth.
Equipment challenge me, yes. It is challenging, especially because a lot of the times you're flying blind a lot of times, and that goes from it the reasons behind that range. But yeah, it is challenging. Challenging and enjoyable are two totally different things, eh? It is challenging, especially when something goes wrong. And like now, when you're faced with a choice between protecting your health and protecting your pocket, definitely that's a challenge. That choice is a big deal. So yeah, it's challenging. Speaking of that, content creation for being seen, what are your views about partnering with local content creators or other production folks who are trying to be seen as well? Yeah, me would give everybody a boost. I don't know how much of a viewership I have or how much influence I have. It might not be as big as some people, but I know that it's a sizable one. And so I would definitely give anybody a boost. Anybody who wants a boost, me give them a boost if it's worth it. Like if it's something that works alongside my my motivation and my end game, sure. But yeah, sure, why not? Somebody had to let me be seen on something before. If one person never took me up and said, hey, she can't host something, then it wouldn't, I'd never be at this point. So of course
we all need to pay it forward and support each other in whatever way. Miss Dare.
Don't Miss Dare me, Annalisa. All right, Miss Chapman.
Thank you so much for that talk. I thought it was very insightful, very practical. As much as you make it look easy, and as much as we talk about sometimes winging it and thinking about your feet, you can, as you've said, you can never say it enough. There's so much preparation that goes on behind the scenes. You have to, as with anything, practice your craft and be resourceful when needs be, especially in these times. And I hope you guys have all found it useful. You talked about connecting with the audience, using, the various technical skills, the challenges that you've encountered, how you've been kind of using your skill sets in the various creative arts to enhance, each one enhances the other, and that helps you grow, not just in those fields, but in each one in a variety of ways. And your experience overall. So very inspiring. We look forward to seeing you in all your various iterations, whether as a host, as an actress, as a singer, what
yes,
next,
girl.
as a dancer. I mean, there's so much more to you than meets the eye, I'm sure. What podcast Charles says, yes. She feels like she just went to TV school.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm grateful. I hope it helped. At one point, you see, it was so funny. Singing to a camera without anybody in an audience was definitely a hard thing to do. But this TV made it easier because I'm accustomed to not having a whole heap of people to build a vibe off of. So you never know what will help with what. So, stick it through and learn everything.
All right. Thanks again, Kevin.
Shut up, Kevin.
I tell you.
Kevin, you are no longer allowed to comment. Goodbye. Thanks, everybody, for having me.
Thank you, Sakina. Stay safe. Stay well.
Yeah.
Talk soon. Bye-bye. Mr. Justin On. Let me unmute you. You joined us from New York, but now you are by the falls.
I say, how's it going?
Welcome, sir.
Welcome. How's it going? Thank you. Good to be here.
Thank you for coming on. It's been a while in the making, but we're glad to have you on.
Definitely.
Well, okay, so we move from a female in the TV industry to, of course, male. You also, like Sakina, have had experience on stage, on the big screen, on the small screen. And we want you to talk a bit more about your experience in terms of entering the TV industry, both locally and overseas as an actor. Some of the challenges you've encountered, you know, in terms of trying to make it in both spheres. But let's start first with, you know, this impressive bio of yours. So this is Justin On for those just joining us. Justin is an actor of undying passion and experience. He has been on over 300 sets and worked with various artists, writers, producers, directors, and companies. Some of his work includes the long-running television series Royal Palm Estate, where he played one of the lead roles of Farouk Tavares, playing with productions such as Good Business, CBS, NBC, Flesh and Bone, HBO, Fox's Gotham, Paramount, ABC, and many other productions under those networks. He's done commercial work, music videos. He's also done modeling for Polo, FC UK, and Macy's. Justin has also done work for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, and the Children with Disabilities and Children's Cancer Foundation. And you also play Santa for kids at hospitals during the Christmas season, Justin. Aw. You've taught acting at the University of the West Indies, and presently you have your own radio show on campus.
Yes, I do.
The Vintage Lounge on News Talk 93 FM every Sunday, guys, check it out. And your goal is to gain vast knowledge, become a more adept actor, and to set a good example in the film industry. Welcome, Justin.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Thank you for Sakina being here prior to me joining. That was quite interesting, you know, and yeah, it's just a pleasure to be here. What can I say? I enjoy acting, you know, I love acting. That's why I do it, you know, and there are a few people here in this group that I've worked with already. There are a lot of creative Jamaicans out there. So, you know, I would just basically suggest, you know, if you want to act, or basically you would just apply yourself and send out your resume, you know, and your portfolio if you can, you know, do some research to find out if different castings are coming up in your area. Before COVID, you know, you can go out to social networking events and try to introduce yourself, try to target certain folks that may be here on the island or elsewhere. I just continue pushing forward. I mean, I've been doing this since, well, not acting, but I started as a model since I was a kid. So my mom got me into it, you know, as a baby. And then I just continued modeling as I got older and got into acting, you know, radio, broadcasting, voiceovers, different kinds of creative things. You know, I'm just all about creativity and just doing my own thing, you know, and I have a passion for it, which is why, you know, so.
Tell us a bit how you got your first TV role. I read somewhere that you did a walk-in. That's how you got started. You walked into Lenny Little White Studios.
Yeah, actually, I just did some research online and I found out where they were, expressed my interest. I just went in and filled out, you know, an application, gave them my information. And then somewhere down the line, you know, they called me up and said, you know, we'd like you to come in for a screen test. So I did, and I guess they liked it, and decided to create this character for me, Farouk Tavares, you know, the son of gangster Sonny T. He's like the biggest don in Jamaica, right? So I get to play his kid, and it turned out to be great, you know, for years. I got to work with them, and you know, it was a pleasure just being there on set. I see a question. My nationality, I'm actually, my roots come from the Middle East. You know, Syria and Lebanon, but I was born in New Jersey. I came here when I was 1. And basically I was raised in Jamaica, you know, and I spent most of my life here, but I traveled frequently, and I also lived in Ireland as well. So, but most of my time is in Jamaica, you know, so this is my little island in the sun.
So Royal Palm Estate was your first acting role in television, Justin?
I would say in Jamaica, yeah, I did. I think that was it. I did like some commercials prior to that. But as for, I guess, a serious role to take on, I guess, Royal Palm State, you know, and it was a pleasure being there. I'm grateful for the opportunity, you know, that Lenny Littlewhite gave me, and you know, it was a great experience. You know, I can't complain. I stayed there for years, and I got to know a lot of people I worked with, and I still communicate with them. You know, I'll still call Lenny every now and then to say hi, or Munir Zaka, who plays my dad. You know, just to check on them. A few cast members here and there. I see string beans online, Michael Nicholson. You know, and yeah, it's definitely a great experience.
I know a lot of, I mean, you've listed an array of networks here. I think a lot of persons are interested in terms of how do you break into the overseas TV market? Can you tell us a bit in terms of, you know, how you started off in terms of getting roles on a more, you know, starting with your first overseas television series or production role?
Well,
and
it was basically the same. You know, I went to certain areas like New York, New Jersey, Washington, for example, and a lot of these excellent television shows that maybe you watch on Netflix or you see wherever on television, a lot of that takes place there. So once again, it's just doing research, typing in certain keywords, trying to find out who's out there, where can you send your information to. There are certain offices. If you look online, a lot of offices are listed. You can either deliver a hand, you know, something in hand to them, like with your information, or you can email them. You know, you can send them something by mail. But majority of the time, they like to receive emails rather than getting something at the office. It's a little different. But you'll hear the word no a million times, and on occasion you'll hear the word yes. So I got to be a part of like Law and Order SVU, Blue Bloods, Elementary, Lucy Liu. Got to work with Jeff Daniels, Gotham. So, you know, it's basically just applying. It's just constantly sending out your resume and just sitting there basically for hours in front of your computer, wherever you are, and just constantly applying. In any given day, I can maybe send out 100 resumes, you know, 100, you know, people I've sent my information to, and maybe 10 might call up. And if you're lucky, maybe you'll get double booked and you already got booked for this and somebody else wants you on the exact same day. And next thing you know, you have to decline because now these offers are coming to you, you know?
I like how you're just reeling off some of these names. So matter of fact, oh, you know, Gotham, Elementary, you know, SVU. Does a lot of, I mean, are you based a lot overseas? I mean, are you sending out these audition or inquiries when you're based in Jamaica, or do you spend a consistent amount of time overseas?
Well, I try to travel back and forth when possible. But even if, say, for example, I'm in the States and stuff may be going on in Jamaica, I'll still send out my resume to folks in Jamaica. If something's going on in the States, I'll give you an example. Today, I sent out my resume again to other castings and other things going on in the States. It depends on, is it feasible? Is it worth your time? Can you go and really make it? Sometimes, especially during the COVID-19 thing at the moment, you're getting a lot of voiceover work. But yeah, I still send in my stuff either way, whether I be in Jamaica or America to wherever I'm applying to. So.
Do you have to be a member of the Screen Actors Guild in that jurisdiction to get this type of work?
No, you do not. But eventually, once you get into that organization, it's kind of like you have JAFTA, right? JAFTA is just a network of a bunch of creative people getting together, and there's a lot of things that one can take advantage of and learn from. So no, you don't have to be a member to get work like that. But if you get on certain sets, eventually some are SAG sets. So eventually you get waivers. Once you get a certain amount of waivers, then you pay a certain fee. And that basically gets you into a full network of many people that have the same goal you have and that have the, you know, the same drive that you may have. You know, they're doing what you want to do. You're doing what they want to do. You have something in common. No, you don't have to be a member. You just apply and see what happens. Because they even list it in some of the castings. Some you have to be a member, others you don't.
A lot of well, Sakina and Shaniel are asking in terms of management. Do you have management? Is a lot of this you're pretty much doing on your own? And is that the standard routes? Are you the fortunate amongst the few, or do you find,
Well, like it said, many are called, but few are chosen, but what can I say? No, I don't have a manager. I've just been, or an agent. I've just been sending out my stuff on my own. I can't really wait for anyone to give me a call. I just have to apply myself. It would be nice to have a manager or an agent in the States. Normally that's a procedure. They're going to go through your agent or through your manager. Coming from the Caribbean is a little different. So no, to answer the question, I don't.
But Justin, tell us a little bit more about these roles and in terms of, what the experience has been like working on, a television set, both locally and overseas, and if there's any, in terms of the differences and your approach in either situation. So you can choose any example from any of the roles.
I would say my approach is always the same. I go in with an open heart and I go into work. Somebody calls me up. I just try to be on my best behavior and do what is required of me. Being on an international set, for example, there's something that I see they kind of, tend to. Everyone on set, they treat you as if they basically treat everyone equal, is what I've noticed. Working together, as a unit. Like if the star is eating steak, you're eating steak too. So it's like if you're a vegetarian, if you're a meat eater, they have different things to offer you. So I see an equal amount of treatment on an international set, but I do at the same time in Jamaica. I have good relationships with people in Jamaica too. So I see a very strong structure in the States. Like if they say be there, like Sakina was saying it earlier, if somebody wants you there at a specific time, like say 8 a.m., there's no Jamaican time in the States. It doesn't work that way. You have to get there at either 7:45 or 8 a.m. or 7:30. If you come sometimes a minute late, you know what? There's a door. So it's a serious matter because everyone is waiting for you. Everything is done to a T, and there's a wonderful structure that exists. And without structure, things will just crumble. So I'm all for the structured system I see in the States a lot of the times. And then I try to bring that down here to Jamaica. And at the same time, some people here, they have a certain structure. They have a good structure that they work with too, that works for them.
I think, well, a question would come up. Do you think, in terms of
Kevin has a question. I'm sorry, what was that, Annalisa? I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was asking in terms of getting roles. Is there a specific the roles that you've received? Do you think it's something that the majority that would be accessible to most Jamaicans, or is it kind of you have to blend in to, as a fairly Caucasian looking male? I would say. Right. I was trying to find like.
It's okay. It's fine. I guess it depends if you fit the description, and it can go back to once again what Sakina was saying earlier. Maybe you're not right for this role because it just doesn't fit your description. Doesn't mean you're not right for another role. So no, I would say the market is open. You just have to go and apply yourself. And if it fits your description, then you're good. If it doesn't, then there's no sense in applying. And that's why when I go in castings, I really find out, like, are you really looking for this look? Because I don't want to come there and then you're looking for something that looks completely opposite. Then I would just be wasting your time and mine. So I would say the market is open. If people just go and apply themselves, they can definitely achieve what they really want in this life. So I would say go for it. The market is open because there's so many. If you look on television, there's many programs coming up. So many different races out there, and different programs and different stories that they're coming up with. There's a whole bunch of cultures out there in the world, and it's opening now. Like classic Hollywood back in the day, it was more of a specific look. And if you kind of looked like what they're going for, then they would basically they would cater you to that look. Like they would tell you, okay, this is what you have to look, this is what you have to dress like. And you can only go into certain areas at certain times. You can only be married to this person, so it's a little different than today. Today, the market is open. There's so many different races. So I would just tell everyone, We got 3 million people in Jamaica. Just go for your goals. You know, you want to go to the States if you can and apply, by all means. But you know, you're gonna hear the word no a million times. Don't worry about it. Eventually, you hear the word yes, and that will lead into something else that you want. So.
Is there a role you wouldn't play?
I don't know. Like, you know, they say if you're an actor, you're supposed to be able to play any character. I don't know. I guess it would have to be brought before me where I can make a decision, you know? So, but I usually get these characters of kind of along the lines of a bad guy or, you know, maybe a businessman or something. But I don't know. It would have to be, I'd have to read it first and find out, and then I can make a better conscious decision if I choose to or not, you know?
So basically, you remain open until you get more context to whatever opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm open to discussion, you know, so it depends on what it is, you know? So like, for example, I don't always have to play a bad guy. I can play a good guy, you know? So it depends. It depends on what the person is requesting of me, if I'm willing to accept. Yeah.
Kevin wants you to share with us the story about when you got to set too early.
Oh, yeah.
What's the story
I told
there?
you know, yeah, let's see. That's the only complaint that I've ever gotten in my entire years of being on set. Never gotten a complaint, as far as I know. I came too early one morning. It was in New York, and I didn't know where I was going. You know, I'm from Jamaica. I don't really know exactly every single environment, you know, and every single location. So basically, you know, I got there, set was supposed to be at, I think, 8 a.m. I got there early. Plus, I was coming from a different state. Traveled from, I believe, Washington to Maryland, Maryland to New York. And it took me a while to get there. So I left the night before and I got there like hours early, you know, and I was just up for over 48 hours. So literally I had to go to make sure that I was there at 8 a.m., but I was coming from another state because I got the job in another state. So what am I to do? They want me there at 7 a.m. in the morning. I'm just gonna have to pull an all-nighter and go for it. And when I got there, no one was there. I got there a bit too early. So what did I do? I went to McDonald's and had a sweet tea and got there, and the only person that was there was the security. And I just waited in the office, and that was it. They said, hey, you know, we love the fact that you're on time, but you just came a bit too early. So try not to do that again. I was like, I'm sorry. Better early
that
than
must
late.
Be a first. Don't come to
What's
set.
that?
That must be a first. Don't come to set too.
Yeah, don't come to set too early, you know, and that's the only complaint I've ever gotten on set. Usually I go and I do my job. I say, thank you very much for the opportunity, and on to the next, you know. The only time I got a complaint. I came a bit early. That was it, but better early than late, you know, so.
In terms of showcasing, you know, yourself and other talents as an actor, Nadine wants to know, do you think it is important to have an IMDb account as an actor, especially when you're trying to break into the overseas market?
I'd say, yeah, definitely, like those tools like that, having that is a very good, important tool. They do look at that, especially in the States. I don't think mine is actually up to date, but I think all forms of social media would be good for you to get the word out there of what you do. Definitely that website is one that a lot of companies do look at. A lot of production houses may look at to see what have you done, you know? So yeah, I would definitely say it is important.
Okay, looks like there's an opportunity already in the chat. Someone has working on a movie about Lover's Leap and they want to reach you. Andre, Justin has an Instagram page. I'm sure his contact info is on there. You can check him out. Justin On, it's your name, right, Justin?
Yeah, just my name, Justin_on, JUSTIN.
for giving
Yeah,
up your
Lover's
phone
Leap, right? That's nice.
Lover's Leap.
I'm interested in that. Definitely Lover's Leap is a nice story, so it's actually Dustin on AUS. Yeah, Lover's Leap, right? That's nice. I'd like
Lover's
to
Leap.
underscore AWN in that. Definitely Lover's Leap is a nice story, so it's actually Dustin on AUS. Yeah, Lover's Leap, right? That's nice. I'd like
Lover's
to,
Leap.
what's going on here?
Question.
Yeah.
Okay. So because you worked in film as well as TV, can you, I don't know, give us some of the key differences between working on a television set and working on a television production as opposed to a film? I mean, obviously there's the longevity aspect, especially if it's a ongoing series that gets picked up, etc. But can you, tell us share a bit more about your experience in that?
Well, kind of like they're similar, I'd say, just like how you'd make a television show. You already mentioned it, the longevity. You're on set on a TV series, for example, for years. That's going to continue. You're doing a movie production, then it's only a certain amount of time, like you said. So they're very similar, though. That's the thing, the setup, the layout, the people. They're not really too much and they're not really that different. Television and film, it's very similar. I mean, well, in a sense for how it's set up, but of course you're using different equipment. The equipment is a lot larger. They're bringing in some major equipment depending on what the film is. So but I still don't really see that much of a difference to me as my experience, when I'm doing either a film or a television show or a music video. Everything has a script, a storyline, people, locations, equipment, whatever you need. So I don't really think they're that different.
So the level of preparation in each is about the same based on,
Well, it depends. I mean, it depends on the individual. Some have been preparing, way in advance. Others kind of do it on a whim. So it depends. So.
Some of the chat questions went when we rejoined, so feel free to put them out. Okay, Shawneel is interested in knowing about the craft services situation and overseas productions.
You see Chanel now, this is just a plug right now, because basically she does that. She's now offering a structured crafty service, so just like how they do it in the States, basically is how she's offering as well, what she's offering as well in Jamaica, where it's all taken care of for you. You contact somebody, they'll purchase everything depending on what it may be. You have to take everyone into consideration. Maybe they're a vegetarian, maybe they're allergic to something. Basically structured in a way where everything is set up and it's in abundance. Like, it's not going to run out. You need water, you need beverages, whatever kind of food. It's definitely a structure. That whole crafty services is in itself a large production to take on, because that's a lot of people you have to cater to on a regular basis when you're working on set. But in the States, I mean, they give you like a wide variety of things, right? You have sushi, lobster, shrimp. Depends on what kind of production you're working on. So I'm going back to that. But at the same time, they offer different things for you. So I think the way that Chanel is doing it is a very good way, is the structured way, where, when you're on set, you have to have something for your folks. You have to have it where it's already set up in case somebody needs to drink a dozen bottles of water for that day, then fine, have a dozen for them. Sometimes I've been on sets in Jamaica. You're lucky if you get that bag juice, but hey, don't complain. It's still something to drink, So at the same time, it's very important to have a nice structured setup, like she has, so.
Without delving too much into, your personal aspect of it, could you, in terms of the business of it, would you be able to give an idea of maybe the range in terms of, so you've done everything from the role of an extra to certain character roles and guest roles, etc. Is there a kind of of scale or range, you could kind of give us an idea of what a working actor in TV in the US would earn based on a particular role?
Well, sure. It depends. Once again, it depends on the production, just like what you get fed on set. It's always going to depend on the production and the budget that they have. But I'll give you an example. For say as an extra, right? If you're working on certain productions that may be popular, you already know, you can easily make, if you're working 5 days a week, for example, maybe you can take home between $500 to $1,000 a week, depending. So maybe for the month, you could bring in an extra 3,000 to 4,000 US. But it depends on the production that you're on. Sometimes you could be on one production for the day and get $1,000, or a few thousand. I've been on productions where they've given you a few thousand, but you've gone away with them and you're spending time with them. You've gone on a week or 2 weeks or something, or it depends on the time frame. Over there in the States, it just depends on your grind. How much are you willing to work? How long are you willing to put in the hours? Because I've gone on like a 3-day thing already, 4-day thing. Well, I'd say 3, about, where there's no rest and you can master the art of power napping. So it depends on your grind, and how much you're willing to make. And that would determine your outcome of what you could possibly get paid. And once again, it depends on the production and their budget.
What has been your most challenging role to date, and what has been, I would say, one that you think has made you grow the most as an actor?
That's a good question. My most challenging role? I don't know. I think they're all challenging, and they've all impacted me and made me a better actor. I'd say each production that I've worked on, they've impacted me in a strong way, and they've allowed me to get better at my skills, and practice. I can't really pinpoint on one specifically at this moment that was a real challenge. I think all of them are challenging.
Someone's asking, they're asking what's one thing, Amanda's asking one thing in film that you've always wanted to do but haven't yet done. I'm going to kind of shift the focus, since we are focusing on TV today. Okay. Is there a television role or particular series? What's the dream series or role you want to play or be in? Whether current or something you'd like to see created.
Can it be something of the past?
Of course.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm just gonna say The Godfather. I would have loved to take part in that film. The way it was very dark and deep, and the way it was shot. The people that were involved, you felt the emotions, and the fact that they came out with, 3 versions. 3 of them. It was an intense movie. That's one of the first movies I saw, as a youngster, and I would have loved to take part in that, and then we can jump into the 80s and then maybe Don Johnson and Miami Vice, so.
You got to roll up the sleeves there, Justin. Put on some pastels.
Exactly, yeah. Just roll up the sleeves and get a white sports coat and a convertible, and I'm ready to go, So I'd say like roles like that. Like I wouldn't mind playing like a cool cop role like that, or I guess something in The Godfather I kind of did play, I guess, in a sense, but a Jamaican version, on Royal Palm Estate. But it was a pretty intense movie, and maybe a part in Schindler's List. That was pretty intense. I remember seeing that in school. So I would say maybe those 2 films, Schindler's List and The Godfather. Oh, and The Notebook. I'd probably play the love interest in The Notebook. Yeah, why not? A nice lovers movie where everything's, a happy ending.
And in terms of series, is there anyone you'd choose?
Oh yeah, Lucifer.
Nice.
Right now, I'd probably play Lucifer himself. That would be good. That would be interesting. Yes.
Someone wants to know which season and episode of Gotham were you in?
That was
What was the role you played?
played a Roman soldier, and I believe it was one of Ra's al Ghul's soldiers. And it was in a flashback scene when they first introduced him. It was a few years ago, so I don't remember the exact season, but it was some time ago when he was first introduced in the television show flashback scene.
And similar to how we ended with Sakina, what tips? I mean, you touched on some early on, but what kind of words of encouragement would you give to emerging talents who are trying to make it in this business? I think we all know it's entertainment industry on a whole. It's very tough to make it, regardless of talent.
Right.
What tips would you give?
I would just I would say, just follow your dreams, and your goals, whatever you aspire to be, and don't let anything stop you. Don't let anyone else stop you. Nothing can stop your shine but you, and just walk with God and do your thing, and you'll achieve whatever you want to. I always tell folks this, just like I tell myself. So just follow your dreams, follow your heart, and if you really want to do something, you'll do it. Just set your mind to it and you'll accomplish it with, of course, hard work, dedication, and determination.
Cheryl said she could see you being a detective in Lucifer.
Oh, detective. Yeah, why not? The detective is a pretty good role there, yeah, definitely. If not Lucifer, then the detective. Yeah, why not? So
When did you switch locations
Dynasty.
on us?
I've been watching Dynasty and I play the father. I'd like the father.
I actually haven't seen the reboot yet, but I hear it's good.
Oh, I've seen the reboot. It's not bad. They definitely do a good job. They do justice to it. I'm not going to say the same for Dallas. I still like the original. And J.R. Ewing is, of course, I wouldn't mind playing that character. He's a cutthroat guy and yeah, pretty ruthless on that show. I grew up watching stuff like that, Dallas, Dynasty, Falcon's Crest. It was very similar to life. I could, I guess, adapt to it and kind of pick up on it, relate to it in some way.
We're giving our age away, Justin. I think.
No, we're not giving our age. No, not at all. I'm just saying this is what I watched. I'm far beyond. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Justin, the comments themselves echo what I was going to say. You've always been a very positive guy, very passionate, very focused on your goal and going after them. People in the chat saying those that have worked with you have said, Kev says he's enjoyed working with you. I see Joshua is in here. You worked with him on Kinto. And you've kind of always been supportive of filmmaking and TV talent and, anything you can do to not just hone your craft, but obviously to support others in honing theirs as well. And
I appreciate it. Thank you guys. You've made my night for all these wonderful compliments. What's the best thing you can do for someone is pay them a compliment or buy them some food, or give them a prayer, So I greatly appreciate it. I really do. And it's a pleasure to work with all these guys, and all these people here in Jamaica. And I'm all for, buy Jamaican, build Jamaica. You have to work as a unity. It can't be separate and expect to grow. It can't be a circle here, a circle there, a circle here. It has to be like a unification. Once you have that unity, there's strength in unity. So I mean, we're very powerful here in Jamaica, and I hear people want to tell their own stories and stuff like that. A lot of things existed on our island. A lot of interesting things, a lot of interesting people. So it's a pleasure to just be here with you guys this evening. And yeah, I greatly appreciate the compliments. And I look forward to working with all of you again in the future and new people as well.
Same here, and we look forward to having you on later on as you continue to grow in your field, Justin. You can tell us some more about what you've accomplished. And we'll tune into his radio show on what Sundays, Justin?
It's the Vintage Lounge every Sunday, 10 a.m. to 12 noon on Utah 93 FM.
And what kind of vintage music?
I'll take you, I guess, on a journey of some classics. It depends because, Michael Jackson's birthday is on Saturday. So naturally, I have to go with Jackson. And a little bit of the 80s, 70s, kind of his era. But then I'll take you back into like probably music from the 50s, early 1900s. And then we'll go, I guess I'll go from the early 1900s to about maybe late 80s, about 90, and cut it off. And that's it. And all feel good music, all top 100s, all over the world. I just stick to the classics. I stick to the best. And it's always for my wonderful listeners out there. So.
Well, we'll definitely be tuning in. But yeah, thank you, Justin. Everyone,
No, I greatly
continue
appreciate it. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much for your time. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys this evening, and like I said, just go for it. Go for your goals. My time eventually will come to an end, just like it's all. But if you have knowledge, why not share it, for the future, so people other than yourself can reach their goals.
By the way, I was gonna say, do you know there was an earthquake happening while this meeting was going on? I don't know if any of you felt it, but I felt it on my end.
I'm just feeling the energy and the vibes from all these people online right now. I'm feeling a good vibes. That's all I'm feeling.
That's what's shaking you up.
Yeah, that's what's shaking me up.
And the positive energy. I like it.
Definitely, I love that. I feel the energy. I appreciate it.
All right, Justin, we'll take care. We will chat again soon. Everybody continue to stay safe during this time. And yeah, you can check out the chats. Everybody's saying, oh, Charles, I can't do it. This is too nerve-wracking. I can't do a talk show. I leave it to the pros like
yeah, why not, Annalisa?
Run the lounge and thing.
Who's that? Charles Baker.
Leave it to the pros. I see Renee's on here. She can run a talk show.
No, man, you have a nice personality too. You can do your thing, Why not? You have Charles. Charles can do your wardrobe. Renee can promote it for you, and we can all just enjoy it.
All right, we'll have our people talk to their people, and
sounds good.
We'll reconvene. All right,
nice
guys.
show with Annalisa Chapman.
All right, stay tuned for more. I guess you guys might be tuning into the debates tonight for those who are interested in that. And of course, JAFTA Online, continue to follow us on social media. Join, if there are any, share your concerns, reach out to us on IG, on Twitter, on Facebook, email, go to jaftaonline.org. And of course, Sakina was talking about being resourceful. I've done my little up the little production value there, having our little JAFTA logo in the background.
I like that. That's nice.
To compete with your New York skyline, which I see you've shifted back to, Justin. You're just a world traveler, showing us you shift in between.
Thanks, Annalisa.
All right, bye, guys.
Cool, take care.